cristianesimo non c'è una condanna dell'istinto sessuale, non c'è una condanna. Il piacere sessuale, che è un dono di Dio, è minato dalla pornografia. Dobbiamo difendere l'amore, amore del cuore, della mente, del corpo, amore puro nel donarsi uno all'altro. E questa è la bellezza del rapporto sessuale.
I do love when an old man in a chair who can barely move tells us what to do with our sex lives. But there you have it. The Pope says sexual pleasure is a gift from God. Thank you, sir. May I have another? But God doesn't want you to watch porn, for the record. God told the Pope, no porn for you 1 year. He's the porn Nazi, apparently. For our audio listeners, here's what Pope Francis told worshipers at a sermon this week devoted to the vice of lust. In Christianity, sexual instinct is not condemned, no. Sexual pleasure, which is a gift from God, is undermined by pornography. We must defend love, love of the heart, of the mind, of the body, pure love in giving oneself to each other. And that is the beauty of the sexual act. Please don't cut back to me. I'm about to finish. Oh, there we go. Hello. But what the Pope doesn't think is beautiful is pornography, which gave the crowd a serious warning about. Here's the Pope on porn.
Tuttavia questa dimensione così bella, la dimensione sessuale, dimensione dell'amore, la nostra umanità non è esente da pericoli. Oggi tutti i sensi, dimora sia nel corpo che nella psiche. E questo è bellissimo. Ma se non è disciplinata con pazienza, se non iscritta in una relazione, in una storia dove due individui la trasformano in una danza amorosa, essa si muta in una catena che priva l'uomo di libertà. Il piacere sessuale, che è un dono di Dio, è minato dalla pornografia. Soddisfacimento senza relazione che può generare forme di dipendenza.
I love the Cardinal sitting next to the Pope just with no facial expression at all, not sure how to respond to any of that. Also, why does the Pope know so much about the effects of porn? Just asking questions out loud. Basically what he said was, love is defiled by the demon of lust, which destroys relationships and can become a chain that deprives human beings of freedom. That's the Pope. I don't, whatever. Cenk?
Yeah. So there's a little bit of background on why he's saying this now too, which we'll get to in a second, because there was another cardinal who wrote about female and male orgasms. Okay, that's fun too.
His name was Cardinal Sin.
Oh,
there we go. Good one. Good one.
So there's a lot in there. He said, pornography and it could be addictive, which is kind of a funny admission, right? Like he's like, it's so good.
Yeah.
Like, when you start watching, it's hard to stop. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little awkward.
Once you pop, you can't stop.
And then he talked about the dangers, and I thought, well, yeah, the Harry Palm situation is a disaster. I hear you. And the demon of lust has visited us all. Some have enjoyed it, some not so much. But look, guys, though. It's funny to hear the Pope talking about sex, of course, right? But this goes to the whole issue of religion, honestly, telling you what to do with your body. And you could look, I'm not religious, a lot of folks are obviously, and there's literally billions of good religious people in the world. I'm not trying to insult you, I'm just telling you, like this whole idea that, there's the creator of the universe that's like a peeping Tom. And he's looking in and he's like, oh my God, I'm so mad he went to that website. He should have gone to the other website. And oh yeah, he did that and I can't believe he had that. But why did he give us all these instincts if he didn't want us to use them? The idea that the creator of the universe is like obsessed with your sex life or your, let's be honest, in this case, masturbatory habits, right? If you're not super religious, that seems super strange. Right? Why don't you just do what is good for everyone else, don't ever hurt anyone, and good what's for you, right? It's actually fairly simple, but we make sex into this like deified thing, this unbelievable, like this holy thing. Has anybody ever had sex? like really? No, we're animals and we enjoy it. I mean, you watch chimpanzees and bonobos, they look pretty much identical to us. But I'm sure their thing is to just animals, and we're apparently supposed to please God with the type of sex we have. It seems curious.
It's also because the Pope has never spoken to the monkeys.
Right. I mean, but bonobos actually resolve their disputes through sexuality, and chimps. I mean, this is a bit simplifying. And chimpanzees often do through violence, and we are a little more similar to chimpanzees.
No, I would argue we're right in the middle.
The more bonobo, the better, I think.
Yes.
I mean, I've told you guys over the years, or some of you guys, that I'm a Buddhist, and that's sort of why I was like pretty calm earlier. I just remembered that when we were talking. But I think the main thing, like in Buddhism, they talk about addiction of any kind as a hindrance, not a sin. I think that's important. It's a hindrance to finding peace and balance in yourself, right? And just with everything around you. And I actually really like this Pope, and I have for a long time. And I appreciate that, at least that distinction between something like pornography. I don't judge myself or anyone else in terms of any connection to those things. But I think it's that distances ourselves from actual sexual connection with another human being, right? And so I think more and more we're more distanced from one another as human beings, as Americans. We're losing intimacy. I mean, not to turn this into my new age rant or whatever, but it's like we'd rather look at people's Instagrams rather than like ask them if they want to meet up in person, you know? So I guess it's just sort of that distinction, that the possibility of love as a curing practice, as a practice of care and compassion, like the Jews and the Palestinians can have toward one another, like all of us can have toward one another, versus something that distances ourselves and addicts us to something that may not be real. But that's not to say that all of us, are not implicated in all this, but we have all these urges, like you said.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with sex. So this whole, like, religion makes things seem like there's something wrong with them. Like, if you have sex outside of marriage, you're a bad person. I'm sorry, but that's just nuts, okay? Like, why did God give you those urges if he didn't want you to use them? Oh no, he wanted you to do it not on Saturday, but on, guys, it's totally, utterly absurd, okay? And so then religion says, oh, being gay or having a gay act is sinful. No, it's not. No, why did God make you gay if he didn't want you to be gay?
Sin is part of the problem.
So that's why I brought it up, because of what you said, Ramesh. I like that distinction a lot. I don't even think it's a hindrance, but that's a whole nother thing, right? But is it a sin? Hell no. Ironic. Okay, so this idea that things that were prescribed thousands of years ago in a totally different place, in a totally different time and context, still should be applied now is just lunacy.
Yeah, I'm not Buddhist, but I do have a couple of Buddhist quotes on my refrigerator, which is why I was not calm earlier. So I could probably dive deeper. And I really was not I wanted to have a story not mentioning Jews and Palestinians, but since you brought it up, I will just say, of course, the goal, the wish, the dream for all of us is that we can all get along better. I've dated Palestinian girls. Two of my most serious ex-girlfriends are Muslim, Persian women. And I joke around that I wished that our relationship could have figured out the Middle East peace crisis and solved it. But when I was in Israel the other day, I traveled to a few hours on my last day to Akko, to this town where Jews and Muslims live together and coexist, because I wanted to just find out. And I said, why do you guys get along so well here? And they said, because they're our family, they're our brothers and sisters, and it's all about love, because we know each other. We actually live together, we know each other. And when people come from the outside, they don't. On the issue of this specifically, talking about love in all of its forms, I do agree with you, Ramesh. This Pope is actually a much better Pope than most. He's progressive in some ways. He's embracing of our human desires in some ways, and porn can be a problem if it gets out of control. The fact that he's saying sex for sex sake is okay, I think is a pretty advanced thing for him to be saying, and at least acknowledging humans' desires that you're talking about, Cenk. And maybe I'll just leave it with this thought. If God is that peeping Tom that you mentioned, Cenk, and he's always looking at us and our masturbation habits, if he's always in the room there with us, then we're really never masturbating because
Well,
there's
that's
always
just
somebody
Google.
else in the room.
Yeah, that's right. It's not quite solo. That's true.
It's never quite solo. And then also Google's watching, the computer's
definitely.
looking at you.
Well, so it depends on what you're into. All right, I'm going to give you the last quote because I mentioned earlier that I was going to get to this. Nicole Winfield from AP News wrote this. The out-of-print Spanish-language book penned by, now this is why it came up because a former Cardinal wrote a couple of books earlier, and the conservatives are mad, so that's why the Pope is addressing it. Out-of-print Spanish-language book penned by now Cardinal Victor Manuel Fernandez entitled The Mythical Passion.
Mystical.
I'm sorry, The Mystical Passion, you're right. Spirituality and Sensuality is similar in tone to another Fernandez book that sparked scandal soon after he was appointed, Heal Me With Your Mouth, The Art of Kissing. Okay, so look guys, it's easy to make fun, but I totally agree with Ben and Ramesh. This is a pretty good Pope. He's trying to get us a little bit further into the modern world. Yep. People flip out anytime you mention sex, though the Cardinal wrote those books back in the 1990s, and I don't know what's in the books and who cares, right? The question is he a good Cardinal now? Does he care about the poor, the needy, and folks that need him? Does he, shepherd them, etc.? The great side of religion. And I think that this Pope emphasizes that a lot more. So he had to do this to get past, I guess, the controversy. So when you put the kidding aside, it's okay. He's a good guy. He's trying to get to a better world. And to Ramesh's point, let's go more toward the bonobo side, okay? and to Ben's point, he already tried.
Make love, not war. How about a little make love, not war? Huh?
Yeah. We could we can get behind that. We could all put that on our fridges.
Thanks for watching the video, guys. We also love it if you hit the join button below because that makes you a member, and members allow us to be independent, honest. We could be as progressive as we want, no corporate media influence, and that's all because of you guys. We love doing the show with our members. Hit the join button, become one of the Young Turks.